Today's Cowboys Report is made possible by Kinzuri, the height-boosting shoes designed to up your dating game and success. Get 15% off on top of their 30% site-wide deal when you go to kinzuri.com/chat. Today's show, ESPN has done their 53-man roster projection. Rather than go through it all, which I think is kind of boring since we know a very good portion of the names, I wanted to focus on 5 players who are the surprise cuts from this ESPN article, and therefore makes them surprise cut candidates. Now remember, NFL's back just to one cut day this year, so there won't be the 3 stages like there have been in years past, and the Cowboys have some extra depth. Could make for some tough decisions. Now, if you guys are hyped for Cowboys training camp, show me you are by liking today's video right now. In theory, every single person watching should like it right this second. The first name, we start with the biggest one, KaVontae Turpin. He was a Pro Bowl return man last year for the Cowboys, but, and this is something that Todd Archer alludes to, the NFL's changing the kickoff rule. It's designed to reduce injuries, but it's also made it less important. And Archer says maybe Deuce Vaughn could end up taking the KaVontae Turpin role. Turpin did not impact the Cowboys really at all last year on offense. He had 4 touches, a catch for 9 yards, and 3 carries for 17 yards. That was it. There was nothing else that he impacted, that he influenced. He made no other major impact on offense, although he did make a sizable one on returns. Now, there were some mistakes. You could probably blame that on just some general fatigue that he was going through because he played from the USFL season right into the NFL season, so there's not much of a breather for Turpin last year. But he missed some holes that could have led to a bigger gain or even a score that he didn't quite have last season. But he was impactful both on kick returns and on punt returns. But if the kick returns aren't going to be utilized as much, that brings down his value. Now, Archer specifically mentioned Deuce Vaughn. And I think Todd Archer, along with Michael Gelkin, are the 2 best Cowboys beat reporters out there. No disrespect to anybody else. I got a lot of friends on that beat, obviously. But those 2 guys don't miss, if at all they do. It's very rare. Mentioning Deuce Vaughn as a return option and putting Turpin off the list should raise eyebrows. I'm not saying he's going to get cut, but this is a good one to consider. So will KaVontae Turpin make the Dallas Cowboys roster? This is today's pinned comment, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there, you can type in Y for yes, he makes the team, N for no, he does not. It's at the pinned comment. If the ad plays, go vote right now. Devin Harper is next up here. And this, I think, is maybe a sleeper player. He was a 6th-round pick last season for the Dallas Cowboys. And the team is thin at linebacker, but they do have several position flex guys. Jourdan Kearse, Donovan Wilson, maybe even Markquese Bell can play. Israel Mukuamu to a lesser extent, kind of more of a nickel option. But those guys can play at linebacker. They can play in the box. I mean, Jourdan Kearse basically is a linebacker for this team with where he actually aligns. Oh, there's also Micah Parsons, who can line up at off-ball if you need him to. But there are only 4 pure linebackers on this ESPN roster projection. Leighton Vander Esch, Damone Clark, DeMarvion Overshown, and Jabril Cox. Yes, Micah Parsons included, but he's a pass rusher. Let's call a spade a spade. He's going to be a blitzer there. I would wonder if maybe we are undervaluing Devin Harper a little bit. Maybe we should put him in the same conversation as a Jabril Cox. He didn't make much of an impact last year. 3 games played, was banged up, missed some time. But the Cowboys have found day 3 draft pick success. Damone Clark, DaRon Bland. And we never really mentioned, and this is on me too, of course, never really mentioned Devin Harper in the same context. So maybe we are sleeping on him just a little bit. Today's show is presented by Kinzuri. Fellas, have you ever wished you were a little bit taller? Maybe you matched on Tinder with a girl, but her profile says must be 6 foot, and you're 5'10". In shoes, maybe. Maybe your date wants to wear heels, but she can't because it'll make her taller than you. We've got Short Kings covered with today's sponsor, Kinzuri. They make shoes that make you up to 2.8 inches taller without anyone knowing. Girls get heels, makeup, push-up bras. Men deserve a bit of a confidence boost as well. And we're all the same height lying down if you can catch the fairly obvious drift there. Kinzuri shoes are not just height boosting, but also stylish and comfortable. They're not grandpa's Velcro shoes, but fashionable shoes that can receive compliments even without the height increase. The height insoles are built into the shoes, thus making this the ultimate height hack. For a limited time, you guys get 15% off your order at kinzuri.com/chat. The site is already 30% off. With our link, an extra 15. If you can't do math, that's 45% off your entire order. Support our show and check them out at konzuri.com/chat. Life is short, but you do not have to be. Kinzuri can be a game changer when it comes to your dating life. So check the comments section and the description for that link, kinzuri.com/chat. KaVontae Turpin could use Kinzuri. So could Deuce Vaughn. Those guys are pretty short. But they're also NFL athletes, so it's probably fine. Kelvin Joseph, meanwhile, sometimes wants to be more than an NFL athlete. His boss man fat persona hasn't always rubbed the Cowboys organization the correct way. Joseph, who still has released some singles on Instagram, is now working at nickel corner as he fights for his job. Kelvin Joseph is not guaranteed a roster spot. He's been a huge bust so far, and given the depth at corner, there is a possibility that not every player will make the roster. In fact, not everybody can. There's too many guys. So there were 6 players, not including Israel Mukuamu made it as a safety, on this depth chart protection, and also C.J. Goodwin as a special teamer. That would make Kelvin Joseph the 9th corner then. Trevon Diggs, Stephon Gilmore, DaRon Bland, Jourdan Lewis, and Nahshon Wright and Eric Scott over boss man Fat, who, I know this to be true, the team was mad at him last year. They were very upset that he had all the drama in the offseason. They stuck by him. They gave him a chance. They had a huge hole at corner. They needed their 2nd-round pick to emerge as a starter. This is his chance to become a top 50 caliber pick like he was, and he was so bad. They graded him out internally, not PFF, internally, so poorly that they were trying anybody else on the roster at corner except Kelvin Joseph. Now, he made some nice plays on special teams. He also made a bunch of penalties. He is fighting for his job right now. So what will end up happening with Kelvin Joseph? K, for the Cowboys will keep him, or C, or he will end up being cut. Get those votes in for me in the comment section right now. Markquese Bell, next up on the list, everyone's favorite UDFA from last year. The Cowboys stashed Bell on the active roster for much of the season. He only played in 5 games. He had 22 defensive snaps. That was it. He wasn't a key piece. But the Cowboys liked his ability, his traits, his upside so much, like we have to keep him on the roster. Even when it ended up costing them John Ridgeway, as an example. Now, Jourdan was also banged up a lot last year, so got to make sure everyone's healthy this time around. But the Cowboys liked him last year. He still must earn his spot this year. There were 4 safeties on this list: Jourdan Kearse, Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, and nickel corner / safety Israel Mukuamu as well. In our projections, I've always put Markquese Bell on the roster because I like him. Out of Florida A&M, who's had their own football issues the past week or so, if you've paid attention to that story, which is just ridiculous. Bell offers you size, speed. He's still kind of a work in progress. I believe in my notes, he reminded me of like Cowboys Roy Williams, where he was kind of a safety playing linebacker, but he was athletic and could play downhill, but he misses some tackles. I like Bell. I would like for him to find a way to make this Cowboys team. Name a player who you guys think should get cut. We're going through the surprise cuts from ESPN's list because, we're not worried about the whole, they cut the 5th back no one's heard of. Yeah, it's fine. Notable player you think gets cut. Sound off in the comments section. Now, there are 2 types of people who are out there. People who are subscribed to the Cowboys Report and people who are not subscribed to the Cowboys Report. That type of person falls into one category: lames. So don't be lame. Instead, subscribe for more free Cowboys videos. Brandon Aubrey, the final player here, that is the kicker. I would have guessed that Aubrey's the favorite right now. Archer saying that is kind of contradictory to what Michael Gelkins reported, so somebody's going to be wrong, right? He was brought over from the USFL to compete at kicker. Both Aubrey and Tristan Vizcaino, neither of them are promised the job, but even combined, neither of them are locked into the gig. It will be an open competition during training camp. Aubrey last year for the USFL had 15 field goal attempts, made all but one of them, made every single extra point, and was good from a long of 49. Is his leg strong enough? Bones Fossil loves strong-legged guys. I would assume that's the case, but for the former soccer player, we haven't seen that in a game. Kind of the same thing with Tristan Vizcaino. His leg, we've seen a bit more of over the years. Isn't the strongest either. So the kicker spot in general is a total unknown, even with two guys on the roster, but they're going to give those two players, Vizcaino and Aubrey, a chance to win the job. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out.